Hello kids and my dear students. In this video I will tell you about growth and development of physical education. First of all, I am going to explain you development of physical education. Since the time man was born on the earth, he needed physical strength very much. Man used to get strength from physical labor. The hunting was the only means for getting food in the ancient time. He has to wander in jungle for hunting. Man has to struggle a lot for protecting himself from wild animals and gathering food, which helped in the proper development of his body. In the course of time, gradually the mental development of man took place. He started cultivation. Man is a social animal, so he developed the community feeling and started living peacefully in the groups. He started doing less physical labor due to peaceful living, but the importance of physical health increased. Thus, the development of physical training and method began. Saints and rishis developed yogasana in ancient time to keep their body healthy for doing meditation and worshipping the god. The training of exercises and yogasanas for children started in ashramas. The physical training was developed on the basis of natural laws. The physical training has been given importance in all the age categories. Modern time is the age of science and the prosperity is not given much attention towards physical labor. Much attention is paid towards the intellectual labor. Money has attained an important place in modern living. The importance of physical labor is decreasing day by day because everybody wants to earn more money through intellectual labor. This situation is proving harmful for our health. Healthy mind needs healthy body because healthy body contains healthy mind. Every wise person must be careful for his health because health is base of dharma, earth, kam and moksha. Therefore, our physical training should be according to the manner for developing the body as well as mind in this specific age. Now we come to the meaning and definition of growth and development. Many people use the terms growth and development in same meaning, but in reality they are different. Growth refers to quantitative changes and increase in size and structure. Not only does the child become physically larger, but the size and structure of the internal organs and the brain also increase. As a result of the growth of the brain, the child has a greater capacity for learning. The child grows mentally as well as physically. In the other hand, the meaning of development is development by contrast refers to qualitative and quantitative changes. It may be defined as a progressive series of orderly changes. The goal of development changes is self-realization or the achievement of genetic potentials. Maslow has labeled this as self-actualization, striving to be the best person possible, both physically and mentally. In the words of Herlock, development is not limited to growing larger. Instead, it consists of a progressive series of changes towards the goal of maturity. Development results in new characteristics and new abilities on the parts of the individual. Insight into the nature of development is fundamental to an understanding of teaching and learning process. Although it is difficult to compare the result of many studies of particular aspects of development, it is possible to describe the general principles involved in the process. Herlock has evaluated the following characteristics of human development, such as Development involves changes. Development is more critical in early stages than in later stages of child. Development is the product of maturation and learning. Development pattern has predictable characteristics. There are individual differences in development. There are periods in the developmental plan. There are social expectations for every developmental period. Every area of development has potential hazard. Happiness varies at different periods in development. There are some principles of development. The process of development of child starts in the womb of the mother and continues till death in one form or the other. The first principle of development is principle of individual difference. Physical and mental development of one child is different from physical and mental development of other child. That is why there are developmental changes visible despite the fact that the children are of the same age. Although the pattern of development is similar for all the children, yet all the children follow the predictable pattern. Second principle of development is principle of uniform pattern. Every species has certain rule of development. Every human being follows this rule. The children may be from India, America, Australia, Japan. His sequence of development will be the same. Next principle is principle of removal of undesirable behavior. In every stage of development, certain conducts of child are undesirable and unwanted, which are left while reaching the next stage. When the child is still infant, he may be naughty, crying, and having the nature of breaking things. But when the same child develops further, he leaves behind such undesirable activities. Next principle is principle of general to specific. Initially, there is the development of simple mental and social process. Thereafter, a specific process takes place. Principle of continuous development. Development is continuous from the moment of conception till death, but it occurs at different rate, sometimes slowly and sometimes rapidly. Principle of different rates of development. While the development of different physical and mental traits is continuous, it is never uniform for the entire organism. Principle of development sequence. All children follow a similar development pattern with one stage leading to the next. The child first learns how to sit, then how to stand, and finally how to walk and run. Similarly, first milk tooth are grown and only then permanent tooth. Principle of correlation in development. Just as physical development is marked by changes in body proportions as well as by increasing in size, so mental development is characterized by different rate of growth for memory, reasoning, association, and other mental abilities. Principle of interaction of heredity and environment. Development of the child takes place due to the interaction of heredity and environment. Heredity decides the limit up to which the child may develop. Dirty surroundings and serious illness during childhood may reduce the abilities of the child forever. Now we come to the differences between growth and development. Growth relates to physical enlargement and changes. Development is a very wide process involving changes towards maturity. Testing and measurement of growth is quantitative. Testing and measurement of development is done on the basis of certain characteristics. Growth relates to height, to the body, its weight, and increasing size of bones. Development involves, besides physical development, such developments as emotional, mental, social. Growth suspends after reaching a certain age. Development is a lifelong process. Now we come to the factors affecting child development. First is sex difference. There are dissimilarities found in the development of a girl and a boy. Initially, the girl grows physically as well as mentally more rapidly than the boys. The boys have more physical strength than the girls. Second is environment and nutrition. Environment and nutrition have very deep impact upon the nature of development of child. Those children who are living in neat and clean environment have better physical and mental development than those children who are living in unhygienic surroundings. The next is maturity. As the age advances, the part of the body becomes stronger and work efficiency is enhanced. This is known as maturity. Development of child to a great extent depends upon the level of maturity. Next is intelligence. Intelligence is at the root of development. It is only through the intelligence that the child learns different activities every day. The child with low level of intelligence develops slowly, and the child with high level of intelligence develops more rapidly. Next is health. Sickness retards development of the child. If the health is good, the development is proper. It is seen that the child who are usually sick during his childhood are not properly developed. Next is culture. Culture and customs of every society and country also influence developmental process of the children. The children of advanced and prosperous countries are rapidly developed than the children of backward countries. The next is family. The development of the child is also influenced by family temperament and mutual conduct of family members. Emotional, mental and social development of child depends upon mental state of his parents. Now we come to the stages of child development. Dr. Jones has divided different stages of child development as below. Number 1 is infancy, which running up to 5 to 6 years since birth. Next is childhood. This stage continues in between 6 to 12 years. Next is adolescence. This stage continues in between 12 to 18 years. Next is adulthood. This stage starts after the completion of 18 years of age. The first 3 stages of the life are of great value so far as the educational development of the child is concerned. These stages have been discussed in sufficient details as below. Number 1 is infancy. Psychologists have different views about the meaning and the age of infancy. Generally, the children up to 5 years of age is considered infant. There is another group of psychologists considering age of infancy up to 6 years. There are some characteristics of infancy. The main characteristics of infancy are below. Number 1 is rapid physical growth. There is speedy physical growth of the child within first 3 years of the birth. Next, rapid mental growth. During infancy there is rapid mental growth. There is rapid mental development of the child. As a consequence, his emotions, memory, imagination and concentration etc. develops a lot. Rapid learning process. The child learns many things during infancy and keep them intact in his mind for the years to come. Development of social feeling. Infancy is the stage when language development. There is very rapid language development during infancy. The child at the time of his birth only knows weeping. Within first few months he starts crying, and a little further he learns a few broken words. By the time the child reaches 1-2 years of age, he learns some useful words and start calling his parents and those who are close to him. Imaginations. The child does not have the capacity to distinguish between the word of reality and the word of the dreams. His dreamy word becomes his real word. Sense of self-appreciation. Every infant has a deep desire of self-appreciation. He is always eager in getting the love of his parents, brother and sisters. He always desiring that only he should be loved and none other. In this process, sometimes he become jealous as well. Attitude of repetition. Behavior of an infant is repetitive. There is repetition in whatever he speaks or acts. Dependency. An infant is not capable of doing the things of his own. He has to depend upon others for the fulfillment of his desires like hunger, thirst, and playing games, sitting and walking. Imitation. Infants become part of social group by imitating others. They first imitate facial expressions, then gestures and movement, then speech and sounds, and finally total patterns of behavior. Now we come to the childhood. Psychologists are of the opinion that the age between 6 to 12 years is that of childhood. There are several changes taking place in this childhood. Now we come to the characteristics of childhood. The main characteristics of childhood are as below. Number 1 is physical and mental stability, growth in mental abilities, interest in creativity, sense of self-dependence, social and moral development, development of extrovert tendency, development of interest in group plays, suppression of emotions. Unique period of life. Childhood is considered the unique period of life. According to Cole and Bruce, as a matter of fact, it is very difficult for the parents to understand this stage of child development. Now we come to the adolescence period. The adolescent stage is the critical stage of development. The adolescent is neither a child nor an adult. In this stage, the physical and psychological changes progressively occurs towards the maturity. However, the main characteristics of adolescence are given ahead. Number 1 is adolescent's status is ambiguous. The main characteristics of adolescent is that he is neither a child nor an adult. Sometimes parents and teachers expect his behavior like a mature individual, while on the other occasions they are discarded to participate in family decisions. It creates many emotional problems before the adolescents. Adolescent is a period of transition. Adolescence is the midway between late childhood and adulthood. Therefore, it is bridging the gap between these two prominent stages of life. The characteristics of later childhood come to an end or disappear. Due to this progressive series of developmental changes, the adolescent feels himself quite mature, independent, and able to resolve most of the problems in his life. Adolescence is a period of emotional instability. This is the stage of intense emotionally, which shows intensity of feelings, instability, severe anxiety, fluctuations of feelings, mood swings, egotism. Adolescence is an age of many problems. Adolescent stage is popularly termed as age of problem. Generally, the problems center around physical appearance and health, social relationships in the home and with outsiders, relationship with members of the opposite sex, schoolwork, plans for the future, including education. It is an age of developed social relationship. Adolescent is the stage of social expansion. He has good number of friends without distinctions of caste, creed, culture, and sex. But he is mature and selective in late adolescent stage. Adolescence is an age of unhappiness. The adolescent is not only a problem for others but he is a problem for himself. In such a condition, it is very difficult to enjoy this period, which is full of strain and stress for the adolescents. The major factors which make the life of adolescent unhappy are unhappy, such as social pressure, problems of adjustment, lack of social status, idealism, feeling of inadequacy.